Alright, in the last video you should have made the floor system for the doghouse. In this video what we're going to do is we're going to start designing the walls, two side walls. So these are not the load bearing walls, and they will bear a little weight, but they're not the main bearing walls. So not too hard, just follow along with me step by step, and there's only 3 boards that you have to make here, and the rest is copying and pasting. So first off, we need to figure out the size of these. If we go back to our initial design, remember we wanted a 24-inch back here, and then 36-inch up here. And so what I want this wall from the bottom of this sole plate or bottom plate to the top of the double top plate. We want it to be 2 feet total. That way later on we go to sheetrock or put siding on it or sheathing on it, it'll waste less material. So when we're finished, we want the wall to look something like this. You can see it has a double top plate, a single bottom plate. It's got a couple studs in it, and then we've added some for the corners. So without further ado, let's get started. We can look at this one for a reference. Let's do our stud first. So we know that we want this to be 24 inches total, and to make the stud the right length we have to subtract the thickness of this double top plate right here. So if you remember, these are 1/2 inch, so 2 of these stacked on top of each other is 1 inch, and then at the bottom we have another one which is a 1/2 inch. So if we add that up, that equals 1.5 inches. So we need to subtract 1.5 inches from the 24 that we want to end up with. So most of you can probably do this in your head, but if not, you can pull up your computer calculator. 24 minus 1.5, which is 1.5 inches. 22.5 inches is what we need to make this vertical stud that's going to go in our wall system. So I want to design that component. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to design it out to the side in the right orientation so I can just drag it over. So let's go ahead and do our line tool, snap and go up. Mine, the axis that goes up is blue, so I know I'm the right one right there. Make sure it's on the blue axis. And remember, our measurement was 22.5, so I typed in 22.5. You see it in the bottom right. Enter. Then I'm going to go to the right. Remember, the thickness of this board is 0.5. I'm going to go down, and there's a trick. You can scroll in and you can hover over this point and go to the left, and it gives me a construction line, a little red one, and I can follow that construction line to the right till it snaps to that blue axis. Then I can finish that off. I want to go to the push-pull tool and extrude this face in that direction, the width of our board, which is 2.5, 2.5 inches. The last thing we need to do is we need to paint it. So I'm going to grab my select tool, and I can see right now that it's going to select this construction line back here. So I'm going to rotate till that construction line is out of the picture. Hold in shift, click my scroll wheel and pan, and select this entire board. If I were to go down right there, it would get this construction line. You see how I added this construction line, which is attached to this component, so it selects the whole thing. So I'm trying to avoid that. I'm going to select the board, paint bucket tool, grab the whatever color you've been using, your wood color. After you painted the whole thing, right click on it, say make component, and I've just been naming them the length of the board. So the length of this board is 22.5, and I've already done this once, so I'm going to put a little comma just to make it different. So now I have my stud. It's going to go on my wall. Okay, the other 2 boards that we're going to need are the bottom plates. So from here to here, we wanted that to be 24 inches. So one of these just needs to be 24. If you remember our design, we want it 24 from end to end, front to back. So I'm going to orient it the right way too. I'm going to go like this. It's like I'm looking down. And this time I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to use the rectangle tool. I'm going to click on the rectangle tool, snap, and for some reason it's wanting to paint on the blue axis. Oh no, we're okay. So I'm going to go like that. And I can see that in the dimension in the bottom right, it's doing the length first and then the width. So the length that we want this is 24, comma, the width is 2.5. So 24, comma, 2.5, enter. So now it's like we're making this board right here. So I'm going to go to my extrude tool, extrude this up 0.5, half of an inch. Do my select tool, select the whole thing, go to my paint bucket, which I lost. Where is it? Oh, here it is. And I'm going to right click and I'm going to make a component. And this one is 24 inches long, so you can do 24. Okay, and then we just need one more. So the last one we need is this sole plate for the longer wall. And it's going to be 36 inches minus 2 of the thicknesses of these boards. So this whole thing is 36 inches, our platform. This board is 2.5. This one is 2.5, these walls. So if we add the 2 walls up, 2.5 plus 2.5, that's 4, 5. So we have 5 inches minus the total, which is 36. So 36 minus 5 is 31. So this board needs to be 31 inches in length. So I'm gonna orient myself so I'm looking down like this again, and I'm gonna draw it in the right direction so I don't have to rotate it later. And I'm gonna do the rectangle tool again. I'm gonna snap a corner, drag it out, make it look roughly like it should. Oh, that's doing something funny. Okay, there we go. Sometimes you have to orbit around and get it to draw right. So if I look at this one in the bottom right, it's doing the length and then the thickness. So the length we wanted was 31, comma, 2.5, enter. Oh, and I did that wrong. So I'm going to do Control Z. Okay. So actually I'm going to do 2.5, comma, 31. There we go. Now it's the right orientation. And I could have just like rotated that last one, but I'm just gonna retype it so I don't have to rotate it later. Okay, now I need to go to the push-pull tool and make that 0.5. And then I need to select this board. And then I'm going to paint it. Right click, make a component. This one is 31 inches. Say OK. Okay, now it's just a matter of building our walls. So I'm going to delete these walls so I can show you how to do this. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to start putting on my sole plates. I'm going to grab this one. Well, let's do the short one first. This will be easier. So I'm going to grab this back left corner. I'm going to click on this one, go to the move tool, grab this back, actually right corner, scroll in and snap it to this corner here. Control C, Control V, I just copy and pasted. I'm going to bring this and just drop it on the top for now, and then I'm going to come over and grab this corner and snap that there. Now we can put in our other 2 sole plates. I'm going to grab this one. Oh, and the last one is still selected, so I'm going to hit escape, escape twice, and now I'm going to grab this one. So that just deselected the last one. And I'll move it right there. If you look on the other side, looks good, it's nice and flush. The board is still selected, it's in blue. Oops. So I'm going to do Control C, Control V. Uh-oh. Never mind. I'm going to go to this select tool and then select it. Then Control C, Control V. I'm just going to kind of snap this over here for now. Rotate. Grab one of these corners. Zoom in and make sure it snaps to that endpoint there. Alright, so we're cruising. Now we have to throw our studs onto our sole plate. So if you look, I put little glue points already, but we can redo these. So we're going to do 9-inch spacing. So I'm going to grab my little tape measure and I'm going to snap it to this end and go to the left and type 9, enter. And if you look, it made a little glue point right there. I'm going to snap to that glue point, go to the left, 9, enter. And you only need the 2. And then I'm going to grab the select tool, select this board, go to the move tool, grab the bottom right corner, snap it. Okay, Control C, Control V. And I'm not going to paste this right on that dot, on that glue point. I'm going to paste it to the side. Then I'm going to grab the middle, and then I'm going to snap that to that point. And I'm going to Control V again. Once again, I'm going to snap this out to the side, grab that midpoint, and snap that midpoint to my glue point. Then I'm going to do one more. This time I actually can just snap it right to the corner there. And then I want you to grab this select tool, grab your sole plate, Control C, Control V, and snap it to the top. And then the last thing for this assignment, I want you to drag a box over about this much. When you drag from right to left, it selects everything attached to whatever you select. So for instance, if I drag left to right, it doesn't select anything unless you select the whole thing. Did you see that? If you go from right to left, even if it gets just a little bit of it, it selects the whole thing. So I'm going to select all of these. Control C, Control V. And I'm going to rotate just a little bit and make sure that you paste it the same orientation, because this compartment right here, this cavity in the wall, is smaller than these other two. So we want that to be the same over here. So I'm going to snap it just like that. It's just how it worked out with being 9 on center. This one isn't 9, but so there it is. Yeah, so get to this point. Once you're finished, click on the tape measure, get the little text tool, snap up to a corner, and type your name. Hit enter, or just click. Go to the drop down here. Well, make sure you save this, save your progress. Click on this little drop down. Go to download PNG, and then you can zoom in and out and get what you want inside of this picture. Say export as PNG. It'll go to your downloads. Then go to Canvas and submit it. Alright, thank you. Have fun.